Have you ever felt like you're just yelling into a void when you try to fix an error on your credit report? You send the letters, you make the calls, and you get nothing. It's confusing and honestly can make you feel completely powerless. Well, today, we're going to change that. We are going to walk through the exact steps you can take to fight back and win. Let's get right into it.
This quote from a real consumer just nails the frustration, doesn't it? You point out that the three credit bureaus are all saying something different, and yet they all come back and claim the information is verified. I mean, how? How can all three be right when they don't even agree with each other? It makes no sense, and that's exactly the problem we're going to tackle.
So, it all starts here with the discovery. You're checking your report, and there it is. Something is wrong. And let's be clear, this isn't just a typo. A single error can literally be the difference between getting a mortgage and being denied. It can jack up your interest rates, stop you from running an apartment, and sometimes it can even cost you a job. The stakes are just incredibly high.
And the types of errors you can find are all over the map. I mean, it's pretty striking how common this stuff is. It could be something simple, like a wrong address, or something huge, like fraudulent accounts opened in your name. Or maybe your file is mixed up with someone else's entirely. If any of this looks familiar to you, just know you're not alone. And it is not your fault.
Okay, this is the point where so many people just feel stuck. You found the problem, you totally get what's at stake, but the path forward just seems impossible. The good news? There is a clear legal process you can follow to take back control. So what can you actually do?
All right, your first move is to file that initial dispute. And how you start this whole process really matters. Seriously, doing it the right way from the very beginning creates a paper trail, and that paper trail gives you all the leverage you need if the bureaus try to ignore you later.
Let's break down this checklist. First things first, only get your reports from the official government-mandated site, annualcreditreport.com. Then gather up every single piece of evidence you can find. Write a clear, detailed letter explaining the error. And now, this last step is absolutely crucial. Send everything by certified mail with a return receipt. This is your non-negotiable proof they got your dispute. It starts the legal clock.
And here are the addresses you'll need for the big three. You'll want to send a separate certified letter to each one that has the error. Feel free to pause and grab these. Now remember, under the Fair Credit Reporting Act, once they get that letter, they generally have 30 days to investigate. The clock is officially ticking for them, not for you.
But what happens when you do everything right and they still push back? This is where the real fight usually begins. You see, the bureaus don't just investigate. They often use these stall tactics, hoping you'll just get fed up and give up. You might get a letter back saying your dispute was rejected because it's frivolous or irrelevant. It sounds so official, right? But what they're really doing is using a specific term as a tactic. They're basically claiming you either didn't send enough proof or that you're just sending the same dispute they already fixed. So, let's just pull back the curtain on what's likely going on here. They say your dispute is repetitive, but the real motive? It's probably to cut down their workload. They know if they push back, a bunch of people will just drop it. Or they'll say they think a third party sent it. But really, that's just a way to slow things down and add more hoops for you to jump through.
Knowing which type of stall letter you got is key. Are they calling it frivolous, suspicious, or claiming a third party is involved? Each one is a slightly different game they're playing, and each one needs a specific response from you to win.
This is where you flip the script. Instead of getting discouraged, you get strategic. You absolutely can beat these stall tactics with the right plan. It's time to call in the backup.
Okay, here is your action plan. First, never ever send the exact same dispute letter twice. If they call it frivolous, add something new, even if it's small. Second, bury them in proof that you are who you say you are. Send a copy of your driver's license and a utility bill. Third, call them out on their specific claim. And finally, always remind them of their legal duty to investigate under the FCRA. You are not asking for a favor, you are exercising your legal right.
And if you feel like you're the only one going through this, you're not. Not even close. You know how many complaints the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau gets about this stuff every year? Thousands. This isn't just your problem. It's a huge, systemic issue.
So if the bureaus are still stonewalling you, even after your second, much stronger dispute, you escalate. You go online and file a formal complaint with the CFPB. That's the federal agency that oversees the credit bureaus. And trust me, a complaint coming from them gets a whole different level of attention than your letters might.
All right, now let's talk about the final resort. When the system has totally failed you,
When the errors are still there and they're damaging your life, legal action becomes your most powerful tool. This isn't about giving up, it's about forcing them to finally obey the law.
So, how do you know if you've hit that point? Is it actually time for legal action in your specific case? Well, let's look at the signs.
Oh, okay, let's just run through these red flags. If the same error keeps popping back up, or if they just flat out ignore your proof, that's a huge sign. But the biggest one is when that error causes real-world damage. If you've been denied a mortgage, a car loan, or a job because of an inaccuracy they refuse to fix, it is absolutely time to talk to a consumer protection attorney.
Now, here's the most empowering part of all this. The Fair Credit Reporting Act doesn't just say you have a right to an accurate report. It also gives you the right to sue for damages when they don't comply. And get this, if you win your case, the law actually requires the credit bureau to pay your attorney's fees. This completely levels the playing field.
This last quote just gets right to the heart of it all. It's not about small typos. It's about the massive, glaring inaccuracies that hurt people's lives, and the insane fact that you have to move mountains just to get these billion-dollar companies to do their job.
So I'll leave you with this question. Your credit report is way more than just numbers on a page. It's your financial story, and it follows you everywhere. So when that story is wrong, who gets to have the final say? The Bureau's broken automated system or you?